Dear August, if you can hear that sound, which you may be able to, I've already started bringing in autumn, essentially. I have pumpkin butter on and a spicy sort of candle with a wooden wick. A little soothing, a little calming, and I think that's what I'm going towards, I'm heading towards now. August is the tail end of summer, where we're still all very zested up and very happy and hyper. And that's essentially what August has been, really. I've been toing and throwing into London for so many days that candle is to remind me of where I've come from and my home. And that's essentially where our video begins. This is me to you, August. A lot of things have happened in August. I'm going to have to break them down because I've decided to also split this into a favourites, books, and also what's happened in my personal life. First of all, what's happened in my personal life, I've been to Summer in the City, as you know, and throughout the course of it, it's been a very big thing for my mental health. Because I wasn't volunteering, it meant that I had a lot of free time on my hands and my mental health was not at its best, as you could probably tell. But I had so many people around me who understood what I was going through and kind of just looked after me and made sure that I was okay, and I really do appreciate those people who did. And thank you for such a wonderful time. I think I'm in two minds about whether I should volunteer again or not. I wonder if I should. It does wonders for mental health because I'm not thinking about myself, my anxiety, or my body and what I'm putting into my body. I'm thinking of the task at hand and I don't care about what I look like. I also went for a checkup with the university counselling services for my therapy to see how I was and how I was doing, and it was really nice to just go back. It felt like deja vu walking into university again on a different campus, knowing full well that this is where I'll be in October. I'm going to be starting my third year, and it's crazy. I've just re-enrolled for that as well, which is even crazier. As I think I've said through most of these videos, without her, I don't think, without my counsellor, without my therapist, I don't think I would be able to sort of rebuild the person who I was. I think I always will have this high functioning anxiety in me and this idea that I need to control things, and that might stem back from things in my personal life, people in my personal life that I've grown up with eating disorder tendencies, and now with this anxiety as well. And I think I might always have this urge to want to control situations in my life, but now I'm more equipped to deal with that and try and learn that I don't always have to control situations in my life anymore. Sometimes I can't. That can be very stressful and it can be very anxiety inducing for me, but I have to just sort of breathe and know that things will happen. I don't have the power all the time. Someone else has to have the power and they have to hand that power over to me. And I also celebrated my friend Vicky's birthday as well, and it's the first time I've ever wandered into a London pub, and it was the most wonderful, wonderful pub. If you ever want a really quirky, sort of off-centred pub in London, central London, the Water Poet in Liverpool Street. What was that? Poet. The Liverpool Street, the Water Poet. The Water Poet, darling. I've just gone 2 notches Windsor. I meant to say the Water Poet in Liverpool Street. It's such a little quirky back place, and it was the first time that I've ever been, I think, around my YouTube friends or certain YouTube friends and felt really comfortable. To be fair, I had just come out of counselling that day, and I am very open about that sort of thing, and I enjoy it immensely. To go into counselling and then to come out and go to a social situation, I feel more relieved and I feel happier and because I've just laid my brain space on the table. But I felt very comfortable and I didn't feel so anxiety induced, and even though I always have that fear of, should I keep the conversation going? Is it my fault that the conversation's going? I have to remind myself sometimes silences are good in a conversation, and it's good. If you are ever one of those people like me who blames themselves for a conversation that goes wrong, don't. If the conversation goes silent sometimes, that's okay. You're allowed to be silent. It doesn't mean that you're a terrible person or that they don't want to talk to you. It's just that sometimes the conversation needs a silence. Now we will get into my favourites, and I think I just wanted a bit for favourites because I wanted to have a bit where I could just talk about Christopher Robin, because I've recently seen it, and I have a lot of things, and I have a lot of things to talk about with Christopher Robin, and I also have a list that I made in my friend's car when we went, and so I'm going to go and get my list. Essentially, what it is that if you've seen the trailer for Christopher Robin, you'll know that in the Disney version, Christopher Robin grows up, goes to boarding school, gets a job, but what he has is that he forgets his childhood, and he trades in his childhood, his playfulness, for the dreary drum work of London and working in a London company designed to sell luggage to the upper class. There are lots of things that Christopher Robin the movie teaches us that aren't really spoilerish at all, I don't think. Like, there's nothing that big. If you don't want to hear anything about Christopher Robin, skip, because it's still in the cinemas if you'd like to see it. But I have a few things on it, and a lot of things towards like mental health and my own life and what I see with my friends when we're in London, so I'm going to talk about this. A lot of the time, the animals like Pooh and Piglet and Tigger and Eeyore all talk about how London is noisy. London is a noisy place, and they're very frightened of this this different world, essentially. Like, they go, London is noisy, oh, it's very noisy, why is it so noisy? And it's so true. Like, London is such a noisy place, and it has so many voices, and it has so many people and noises coming from people's mouths, and internal noise, external noise, and it's a noisy place internally for your brain and externally because of, external sound. And this is quite awkward because I'm graduating, so do I stay in London in the noisy place with my friends, or do I find peace of mind but I'm further away? Decisions. The whole thing about it, the whole message, I think, is don't forget to play and love, and remember that the world is here, like, it's all around us. We're only on this earth for a few years, depending on what life throws at us and what happens to us. And I think what definitely the modern world forgets, even though Christopher Robin is set in the 1940s, the, post-war Britain, 1940s to the 1950s, it's still the same thing. Our world here is so noisy and loud and fast-paced, and it puts pressure upon pressure upon pressure on us to perform well, to do better. We can get emails on our phone. Therefore, should we stop working? And we're consistently working, and we forget that actually there's a simple act in remembering what we were like as a child. Lots of childhood imagination. It's really simple stuff. I think when we go into the adult world, we forget the art of play. And me coming from my creative theatre background, we do forget the art of play quite a lot. Like, I go into spaces where there isn't the art of play. I go into business networking meetings. The art of play isn't established. It's not put in. It's not seen as normal to play. But actually playing can help us sort out a lot of our issues and a lot of our situations and scenarios that we encounter in day-to-day life. So we should never disregard our childhood playful self. And when the heffalumps and the woozles try and crack us down, rent, jobs, uni, school, exams, the government, politics, when they try to damn us down, they make us forget about the times when we played with Tigger and Eeyore and Piglet and Pooh. They make us forget. We should never, ever, ever forget that. And it wouldn't be a Me to You without me talking about the books that I've read. Now, I've read 3 books since I've been home, and it's great. 2 of them have been from my dad, and 1 of them has come from Summer in the City. So the first book is called Legion of the Damned by Sven Hassel, and the second book is The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck. And the last book I read is it's not a fan fiction, it's a book set in the fictitious world of Star Wars, and it's called Bloodline. And it's not something I would have picked up, but I got some books from Penguin at Summer in the City, and Bloodline happened to be in it. So, I know I usually talk to August at this point, and I haven't really been able to talk to August very well. I've not essentially addressed you, and I've not asked you things, and I've just told people things, and I've told my audience what I've done. And essentially that's what I've been doing, I think, throughout these summer months. I don't think I've been addressing you, and I think I've forgotten how to address you as a month. September, I feel, is a very easy month. I start it by going to the Lake District, actually, and I have a feeling that September is going to be one of those months where I get to see the leaves change, and I barely get to see that because in London it doesn't exist. With all my love and understanding, thank you, August. Love, from Ellie.
With your life playing from the stereo.